All right. Any other games over the weekend that caught our eye? There was a few other things, I guess, happening in the AFL, I suppose, over the weekend as well, and probably during the week. Just to run off a couple, there was the Gawn and Grundy. I think they kicked about 3 goals each. That was looking pretty good. Whether if that's the system they go with, it's just a practice game, but that could be interesting. And there was a bloke from Sydney, a 20-year-old bloke from
Errol
Sydney.
Goulden.
Errol. Do you want to sing it for us? Oh, Errol. No.
You can do that.
45 touches, 3 goals, and 9 clearances. Pretty handy for a 20-year-old. And they, I'm sure there'll be a few. Sydney need all the help they can get this year, I think. They're on the way down. And then we had, I don't know, this is probably a conversation for another day, but there's all that stuff going on in the AFLW at the moment about the priority signing period, and I don't think that's impacting on the Cats women's team as much. But probably is one for another week about if they brought that into the AFL, especially with the new Tassie team potentially around the corner. Would you be happy to say let go of a Tom Atkins or something like that if they wanted to poach? Or
Under no
how would you feel about some of the like Brad Close disappears? Like I'd probably end the show. I think we'd have to pull a pin on the whole channel. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Is that something?
Yeah, big words.
Yeah, I know, big words. And do you feel like that's something that's got some? You think maybe they're seeing how they go in the AFLW for that, or is that a realistic chance to come into the men's game at some point?
I'd hope not. I mean, someone like Danger, who's the AFLPA president, will always vouch for stuff like that. But I think it's so different with the women's game because, the men's game's been around for 160 years now. So it's very different, and it's easier for a team to become established very quickly because they've been, Tasmania's got their own football programs that will naturally breed ready-made players as well as players who want to go home from other AFL clubs, VFL clubs, wherever. So I think with the women, it's quite different because, well, I guess now we're seeing a bit of the benefit of, the junior programs actually reaping those benefits and bringing those ready-made players. But still, that doesn't make it side because there's only a handful of those every year getting fed into the competition. So I guess whatever needs to be done, the AFL has gone down the path of, wanting to commercialise before, I guess, building more of a foundation, and they're kind of having to go back and fix a few steps and do that kind of stuff, which is a bit disappointing because personally, I think I've said it to Paul before when we had our interview last year, I would have much rather seen the competition start as an under-16s or an under-18s competition because those are women and girls who've been playing, that's what they grew up playing. And then eventually, that's 6 years ago, the game would be in a much better position now because all those girls would have continued and actually not missed out on being drafted and things like that. And then we would be at just a adult competition, and it would be. And then I guess the commercialisation would come a bit easier because they would have been playing at the high standard that they're now getting to 5 years ago would have already been built.
They're there already, and you're seeing a lot of growth already. I miss the under-19 in the men's comp as well. But I'm going to ask you a real hard one, Anna. If it did come into the men's comp, and they poached a Geelong player, what would absolutely rip your heart out? Which would be the player that and Paul, you can answer this too. But if they were going to steal a player from the Cats, that would just absolutely destroy you, mind, body, and soul. Who would that player be?
Any Bowlers.
Safe answer.
1 game, 0. I don't get. Just like I really struggle with the commercialisation. The game naturally has to move that way, but the movement of those players is really hard to swallow because you don't see somebody you won't see a Joel Selwood. I don't reckon ever again. Really, you get those once in a generation players who not only, stick with their club, but stick with the whole community the whole time. There are players who play 200 games, but don't really leave an impact and then go somewhere else and finish their career and they're kind of forgotten. So it's kind of hard to swallow because naturally you want to chase the money and you want to chase what's going to be best for the player, but it would hurt to bring that into a game where it's built on loyalty and family and that community. Yeah,
he's a 1 in a 50 year type of player, isn't he? Paul, I know you were devastated when Cooper Stevens got traded to the enemy.
Until I found out that he was actually a Hawk to begin with.
But modern day player, if you had to get your heart ripped out of your chest, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom style, what would you say? Is that showing my age too much? I don't know. Maybe it is.
No, I've at least seen Indiana Jones. But yeah, Errol won before. I had no idea what you were talking about. It's Hawk. It's probably Hawk.
Don't tell me. Yeah, well, he's not going anywhere.
And that's the thing. Like at his age and stage, you're probably not going to see him move, even if they enacted this program like now. But yeah, he'd be the one of the current list. So it's just there's the history there, of course, and it leans on a lot of the things that Anna was talking about. I mean, he's a father-son, so there's that component as well, which is a very traditional sort of model. He's been there for so long. He's created so many memories. You don't want to see guys like that leave. I mean, not that he was traded or anything like that, but the day Jimmy Bartell retired was just a gut wrencher for me. And
really,
that was a retirement. That wasn't just departing the club for a trade or anything like that, or trying to get the last few years somewhere else, like what we saw with a couple other players that were kind of moved on. This was retirement, and it ripped me up.
We'll probably see the same thing happen with this group of premiership players, won't we? Towards the end, like we can't believe Stevie J and Chappie. Can you imagine that when we win all those premierships that we'd see in those guys in other colours? That's sickens me to this day. Look, Paul, I want to stay with you because just the last one before we finish up the show, the AFL dropped some the teaser about the new AFL 23 game.
Yeah, big.
You're big in the gaming. For those people watching the show that you can't tell Paul's background that he likes game.
No,
but you're the man, Paul. So I'm gonna, and I'm not sure about you, Anna, if you're into your games or not. But Paul has his own podcast as well, Dev Diary. Is that correct?
Thank you.
Yes, so check that one out as well. It's all good podcast stores.
Yeah, so Big Ant worked on some of the AFL games back in like the early 2000s, like AFL Live 2004. This was kind of the PlayStation 2 sort of era. And then for whatever reason, the license got handed on to other developers, and the games have been fine, I guess. Whereas Big Ant, the studio's gone on to make some really fantastic cricket titles in recent years. They've been doing the AO tennis things. They've been doing a whole lot of takes on, much, I guess, more globe-trotting sports. And they've managed to get their hands on the license again, and AFL 23 is the product. So it was there at the AFL Grand Final. There was like a goal kicking demo where you could play as Buddy or Danger, and it was just set shots, but just trying to get people to see what it was like to actually play. And now the game has got an April. I can't remember what the release date was.
I think. Was it April 23?
I mean, that'd be apt, but
it would be. Maybe I got that wrong.
It's probably because the game's called AFL 23.
Work the Google machine. Hurry up.
Yeah, no, April 13. April 13.
There you go. It had a 3 in
it. Yeah, that's close enough, I guess.
I'll be in bail.
So very much keen to get my hands on it, and hopefully have a chat to some of the guys working on it, maybe for some content for us as well.
That'd be great. Yeah,
I feel like I'm in a fairly unique spot within anyone doing footy stuff that I am well and truly entrenched. I know a lot of people actually working on the game, so I'm hoping to chat to Ross and some people from the team about, I don't know, maybe dropping in and seeing what they've got. So
I love to do a match sim between Cats and Hawthorn, and just, I don't know if you can rig it so that we're just super powered and whatever, and we absolutely smash them by 300.
I mean, have you compared? Did you look at the preseason game? Have you looked at the two lists? I think we're pretty well super powered compared to Hawthorn at the moment, anyway, right?
We'll do it anyway.
That'll come back to bite me on Easter Monday, won't it?
Paul, Anna, I want to thank you both. Any final thoughts as we go into? Well, I think we'll probably have a bit of a think next week on. We'll do our pre-season our season predictions, I suppose, next week. But any final thoughts on the pre-season going into next week? Anna, I'll start with you. Anything top of your mind?
I just like that. I guess we're seeing all the things that have happened in the pre-season is proving that we're going to push again, which is exactly what we want. As I said, they can say whatever they want to the media, but we're actually seeing the choice of Danger as a captain. I mean, they could have picked any of the, probably Lex Hawkins, Duncan, Stewart, Guthrie, and we would have known, that's what we're pushing for. So we went, we're seeing all these little things that we're doing that show. It's kind of the way, intent, exactly. Went into last year with the kind of same mentality, and naturally we have to move it again because everyone would have figured us out by now very easily. The game moves a lot quicker than it did 15 years ago when we won our first flag.
Yeah.
So it's just, I like that we're doing the right thing, and it showed that we're willing to give these things a go. And we know that, careers are going to have come to an end and will come to an end, and injuries happen and things like that. But, yeah.
You're talking about Joel's still playing in round one, right?
Get him back.
I know. I'm just struggling. I don't remember football without him, to be honest. So
it's going to hurt.
It does feel a bit like that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, round one. Paul, final thoughts from you, mate?
I guess a couple interesting little Geelong-centric things still to come. The Doco launches tomorrow night on Foxtel, which will be tomorrow night as of when we record this. So that'll be really, really fascinating to check out. And of course, there's also some talk today actually about the stadium. I don't know, did the both of you see that
something
news?
In the Addy about it.
There's something about the steel potentially having a bit of an issue there, and it might actually curtail all the plans to play at home this year.
Yeah.
Debut the stand this year as they planned. So that's problematic.
So we might have to do the flag raising ceremony in 2024, maybe. We'll do the back to back. We'll do both flags at the same time.
You can raise both the 2022 and 2023.
Do it together. Why not? We'll see how we go.
I think I can see a few chickens there. I'll start counting them.
Maybe. Again, thank you to you both. This was the first episode of the Hoops Show on Sunday night, aptly named the Hoop Show. And I'm sure there'll be a few teething issues as we reflect on how we went, but we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. We'd also love you to subscribe and like and let everyone know. Because we love this. We love talking about the Catters, don't we? And we could talk about them till the cows come home. But anyway, look, next week we're going to do our season preview video. So it'll be a slightly different format from what you'll probably be what we'll do throughout the remainder of the year. But it'll be just looking at who we think, mostly focused on the Cats, but we'll have a little bit of a chat about the rest of the comp as well. So stay tuned for that one. Historically, that's always been the biggest episode for this channel since we've been around. I think it's probably a bit over 2 years, a year and a bit. Let's say a year and a bit this channel's been going for now. So that'll be a big one. I think we'll call it a day. Thanks to you both for being on the show. And until next time, go Cats.